One of the blessings of the Methodist Church is that we get new ministers every few years or so. It's also difficult because we have to learn one another, and pastors have to come in and they have to love us, and more importantly, we have to love them. Well, Pastor Liz was our pastor, and people knew that if she came toward you with a certain look on her face, that you were liable to be drafted for some purpose, some volunteering. And it was no different for my daughter, Catherine. She saw Pastor Liz coming, and Pastor Liz had a task for her. And of course, all my children said, you just can't say no to Pastor Liz. Well, my daughter Catherine was an aspiring dancer, and as a matter of fact, she grew up to be a professional dancer and danced for the Brooklyn Nets and was their captain for 3 years. But at this time, she was in high school and she was deciding which direction her life should take. And she was so busy with so many commitments because she couldn't say no. And she was on the tennis team, she ran track, she was in advanced placement English, she was taking music theory, and she was taking dance classes till 10 o'clock almost every night. So she would be up late at night writing her papers. And Pastor Liz said, I want you to teach the young girls in our church a liturgical dance. And so you can't say no to Pastor Liz. And Katie agreed to it. And it happened to be Wednesday afternoon, February 28th. And Katie was feeling overwhelmed with all the things she'd said yes to. And she went to the church and she taught the girls a dance. And she was angry at Pastor Liz for kind of forcing her into this, and she didn't get anything out of it, and she was feeling like, what am I doing here? On the way out the door, she thought, oh God, I don't even believe you're real. And then she went off to teach her class, a dance class, and she came home late that night. She had a term paper she forgot about, and she stayed up all night, and the next morning she couldn't go to school. She told me she didn't feel well. So she missed school on Thursday, and on Friday she had her term paper. She went to school early, and she went to her music theory class, where her friend David Knox was. At the start of the music theory class, they were surprised, or she was surprised, with a quiz. And she was really in despair. She was like, oh no, I didn't know that this was coming. I didn't study for it. I'm just a wreck of a human being, and I'm stupid, and nothing is going right. At the end of class, David came up to her, and he pressed a Barnes & Noble bag into her hands. And in it was a student study Bible. And David had written this in the front. He said, Dear Catherine, on Wednesday afternoon, I felt a strong call to buy you this, but I ignored it. And I went to bed, and it was 10 o'clock at night, and I was called again. Get up, get out of bed, go to Barnes & Noble and get that for Catherine. He said, I did. I got up, I drove to Barnes & Noble, I bought this for you and I wrote this down so that you would know that God is real. When Katie told me this, when Catherine told me this, I said, God is real, Catherine. And God doesn't do that for everyone. You've received a special call. We've all received a special call. If we're listening, we can hear it.